Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future Mumrads. Hey, I'm Littlefinger, and today I am doing a full tank review on this Tier 4 Light American tank, the M5 Stuart. You can see it here in the garage. It is rather small in stature, has some good mobility, fast-firing gun with very low penetration values. It is a tough tank to drive, in my opinion, just because of that low penetration. You're going to need a lot of APCR with this tank. Let me just show you on the tech tree where it takes you. You can see it here at the top. After the M3 Stuart, we go to the M5 Stuart. Continues up the line there, M7, T21, T71, T69. That's as far as I've gotten so far. T54 and T57 heavy. It's kind of an interesting line with a few mediums and mostly all lights with a heavy at the end. But my generalization of this tank line is you're going to have high mobility, good gun depression, fast firing, low damage guns with very little armor. So anyway, if you like that kind of play style, I suggest you power through the M5. I don't think it's a tank that you're gonna stick around and come back to. Let's take a quick look here at the characteristics. 540 hit points. Hull armor there of 28 is pretty bad. Turret armor 38 is a little bit better, but you're not going to bounce many shots off of this tank, believe me. The gun here has 5 shells in it with a shell reload time of 0.67 seconds. So you're going to get through those 5 shells pretty quick with a magazine reload time of 5.2. Downside is only 59 millimeters of penetration. You're going to come up on some KVs and DWs in this tank, and it's going to be difficult without using that APCR. And then of course you can see you're only getting 40 damage per shot. Let's see, the consumables I am running, this is fairly standard for me on an autoloader. Repair kit, multi-purpose, and fire extinguisher. Like I said before, the tank's got good mobility. I don't recommend the engine boost. You may want to carry a first aid kit because you're going to have your crew members hurt quite frequently. Moving on to provisions, I'm running all 3: standard fuel, can of cola, and protective kit. If you want to save a few coins, I would suggest just running this with protective kit. Ammunition, look at this loadout here, 79 AP compared to 46 APCR. There's very few tanks where I'm carrying over 50% APCR, and this is one of them. Friendly reminder, change that to credits with that shell price button on the right. Let's take a quick comparison at the other Tier 4s. Alright, so here's the BlitzStars website, blitzstars.com, using Tank Compare. I've pulled up the Tier 4 light tanks. You can see here, M5 Stuart on the left. Don't get fooled by this DPM of 1525. There is no way possible to obtain that with this gun and the penetration of 56. So, in theory, it would be the highest DPM gun of all Tier 4 tanks. I struggle with this tank. I've played all the other Tier 4 lights, and there's no way you're doing near as much damage per game in this tank as you are in some of these other ones. You're getting 40 damage per shot. You see some of those other ones are much higher there. Rate of fire, and this is what leads to such a high DPM, is 38. Your reload is 5.2 seconds, and you're getting 5 shells with 0.67 seconds between each shell. The shell velocity is relatively low, worst in class at 792, and that probably leads to the additional lack of penetration here. Aim time on the gun is very good at 1.32, best in class, next to the A20. Dispersion of 0.37 is tied with the A20 for worst. And your gun depression there of 10 degrees is pretty good for a gun like this. Only the Covenanter with its 15 degrees. And like I showed you in a previous video of the Covenanter, you really got to use hills to make that tank effective. You look at the speed here at 58 kilometers per hour, one of the top speed tanks out there. Terrain resistance on this is really good at 0.8, 0.9, and 1.9 respectively. Gives you an effective horsepower to ton ratio of 30.8, which is almost best in class outside of the Kehoe. Now, this moving on to the miscellaneous and extra kind of shows you why this tank is a difficult tank to play, in my opinion. Credit coefficient is jacked all the way up to 148, and you're still going to lose money because you have to shoot so much APCR to penetrate anything. Hit points right in line with all of the other tanks, and like I said in the intro there, with the hull armor 29 and 38, kind of mixed in the middle. But moving on here, win rate of 52% is the worst. Look at all of this green, means all of these are better. Average damage, damage ratio, average kills, kills per death, average spots. Everything is better just about. Survival rate, 32%. That's horrible. So I think that exemplifies why I think this is a very difficult tank to play. Alright guys, here is the M5 Stuart's equipment page. I cannot stress to you guys enough not to spend spare parts on this tank. It's not a tank that is worthy of playing over and over again or coming back to play just because it's fun. There's much better tanks out there than this one. Now, as you can see, you've got the choice of improved vents, which I usually love on most tanks because it improves so many aspects of the tank, from its maneuverability to its gun handling. But for this tank, since the penetration values are so horrible, I would highly recommend increasing penetration by 5%. And as you can see, that's the only one I've even spent credits on. If you do spend some more credits on this tank, I would suggest going with the protected modules, because this is going to protect against your engine being knocked out or being ammo racked or caught on fire, whereas the enhanced cabin is going to protect your crew, but you can bring a medic kit since you have the autoloader, and you can't bring adrenaline in this tank, or turbo boost as they're calling it now. Now, moving on, I would go with improved optics, increase that view range to 267 over a camouflage net. If you are crazy enough to spend spare parts on this tank, you've got the choice here of enhanced gun laying drive, reducing aim time to 3 seconds, or supercharge, which is what I would choose. Increase that shell velocity, give yourself better chance of penetrating over distance. Enhanced armor, not going to give you much here, so I would probably choose that 30 additional hit points. Might save you in a game or two. Improved control gives you 7 additional horsepower and 4.8 degrees additional per second on your traverse speed. I would prefer to go with the engine accelerator. It's going to give you a much more on the engine horsepower. It's going to give you a little bit less on the traverse speed, but it's going to allow you to accelerate faster. Vertical stabilizer is going to reduce that aim time down to 3 seconds, versus a refined gun that's going to bring down your dispersion to 0.359. Definitely go with vertical stabilizer. Enhanced tracks or toolbox really doesn't matter in my opinion. Consumable delivery, this is what I would go with, especially since on the high-end consumables I don't carry a power boost, and you can't carry tornado energy in this tank, so definitely choose the consumable delivery system. But reminder, do not spend spare parts on this tank. Alright, first game in the M5 Stuart on Oasis Palms. We've got two heavies over there, and their team has quite a few TDs and heavies, so I'm expecting them to go left. And I wait and watch our team go left, and I'm just going to pull to the back here. You can see how fast this tank accelerates. And I am just going to wait to see where the spots come up. And sure enough, they start spotting in town. So I'm going to pull around up onto the hill here and see if we can't get any shots down there. Now, you see the B1. We're going to have to shoot APCR. And I think we get maybe 4 out of 5 shots to go in with the APCR there. But he is now dropped out of sight. They're all in town, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my speed, and I think this is one of the advantages to this tank and also some of the other tier 4 lights, and just kind of circle around and see where we can get some shots. And you can see not doing hardly any damage on the BT7, which is a very lightly armored tank from such a small distance, or long distance I should say, which is why I really think that your penetration over distance, go ahead and getting that put in would certainly help on this tank. But you can already see, even as top tier, having to use a lot of APCR. We don't have much spotted up, so I'm going to head and try to flank around these. And you can see our team is taking a beating right now. We are down 3 tanks. With missing a few shots, bouncing a few shots, you can quickly see how there's no way you can reach that DPM that's posted on the website there. But it does have a very fast reload, and the aim is pretty good in between shots. You can see this B1's almost perpendicular to me, and I still can't penetrate it with regular AP, so switch over to APCR. He's still sideways to me, so we'll use this as a good opportunity. And you can see, don't even get all 5 shots to go in. Waiting patiently for those 2 tanks, and you can see now we're up an advantage. And so he's showing me his rear, so we'll go ahead and take our time and let these ones aim and get that last shot in there. I was lined up on the martyr, but someone else got him before I did, and all of a sudden now we are looking pretty. So you can see here at 257 hit points left on the M5, and we come in and unload a clip into him, and he still has 40 hit points left. So it's difficult to get kills because you're doing such a small amount of damage at a time. It's difficult, in my opinion, even just to rack up the hit point damage. I mean, this was one of my better games at 1100, only good enough for level 3. So the real key on doing well with this tank is spotting. Alright, so here we are on mines as bottom tier. I'm going to use my speed and push the hill and get some spots. And that really helps out with your mastery badges. If you can spot or track other tanks and your team does damage while you've spotted them or tracked them, it certainly helps with your ability to get higher mastery or level badges. So I'm going to push up using my speed here, and they have a bunch of them coming up, so I'm going to back up and just let them have the hill. There's no point I would die in an instant if I pushed all the way up there, and we know that's not a recipe for doing a lot of damage. We want the other teammates to take our damage for us. So you can see here the tank does nicely on these light tanks, even the tier 5 M4 on the side, but we've got a BDR heavy tank coming at us over the hill, and there's nothing we can do to that guy from the front, that is. So we are going to back out of sight, and then I'm going to make a run for it over to the other side here to safety, right down here. So I'll turn around, and you can see we're in bad shape right now. We're down one tank anyway. All red on the M4 that's angled nicely to me. Using APCR, we are able to get a shot into the front there, and APCR into the Crusader there. But it only does 30 damage, and we shoot that one into the rock. And I'm just trying to be as careful as possible. You can see somehow that one misses, but our fast reload, we get him out. And can't do anything on that top hatch of the BDR, even with APCR. So I take a look back to see the health of our guys at the back there. One of them gets taken out. And you can see how much red I'm seeing there. Get a shot in from the Kuro, the Martyr. And now I'm just trying to be patient. I know our guy's in a much better spot than I am. And he finishes off the M4. So now I just want to spot the Hetzer back up. And he's done a nice job getting himself out of the way of the T-67. And I make a mistake of pulling up too far. He's shot. So I'm aiming for the tracks, hoping to track him. And we get around the side of him, but now we're stuck on a hill. T-67's coming, and I managed to back down at just the right time when he's taking a shot. He gets tracked, and we're able to back up over the hill and do some damage as we're staying beside him. So while I didn't do the 1100 damage as I did in the first game, only 842, that was a level 2 mastery badge instead of level 3, because I assisted the team with spotting. Next game here is bottom tier on Lost Temple, and we've got a good makeup for going to the temple here. So I'm going to push that way and use my speed here, 50 kilometers per hour up the hill, and quickly get up to the temple and the protection that it provides up here. And you can see this KV through the sides. Nothing I can do even with APCR. And it looks like some of them have gone to the hill right in front of the cap circle. switch over to APCR, and you can get a few shots into that top hatch of that M4 before he backs away. And then we'll move back forward here and see what this KV is doing. So there's the KV, and you can see how much red, even with APCR from the front. Take a shot there from the side, so need to move in. We've got 3 guys, myself included, aimed in on this KV, so my goal here is to get behind him. But he's done a nice job of backing up, and you can see even into the side here, we only get 1 shot to go in. So I'm going to use my speed and try to circle back around these guys. You can see downhill, we're going 60 kilometers an hour here. So the tank is definitely very mobile. And maybe its best asset, I think. That means you're doing a lot of driving and not a lot of shooting. So that 1500 DPM there's not going to come into play. So we've evened up the game here. Looking to see where these guys are. They're in the buildings up there. And I get spotted. So we'll push up the little hill here. And I'm aiming in here on the M4 behind the wall. And as I do, I get shot to the left there by that Anko. He's on a reload, so we'll get 1 shot in and just try to back down the hill. He's gone down into the river. M4's coming down into the river. Gonna get a few shots into the side of him there. And we bounce one right there, which is nice. Probably from that M5 Stuart. So those shots weren't going to the wall, so they were definitely hitting him. Just not sure if they were doing any damages. So I want to go ahead and relocate. I'm getting closed in on. We'll get a nice full round into the Anko, and then as I back up, he's turned around and is facing me, and he gets a shot in. So with the quick aim time of this tank and then having multiple shells here, we're able to finish him off. But again, you could see APCR for all of that. Now I'm down to 13 hit points. It's 2 on 2. I know one guy's down there. I'm not sure where the other one is. Just going to speed it up because our Chaffee down there is able to finish this game off. And for some reason, the recording stops. But it was 811 damage, level 2. Alright, last game I'm going to show is on Canal. Top tier. Got several heavies. They definitely have several heavies. Not sure which way we're going to go. So I'm keeping an eye on the mini map, and I'm seeing everyone's going left, so let's change course here and follow them. And a couple of them are going through town, the rest are going far left. How much red is on that B2, it's sick. So anyway, and then with the new update where you're not getting as much damage from using APCR, you come watch this. I come in here and get a couple shots in, and I'm doing 30 damage. I mean, that's horrible. So watch the T28 come in. This is awesome. I love it. I disagree with the fact that he's also losing hit points, but yeah, that's fun to watch. So anyway, I even have to have APCR even when I'm perfectly sideways onto him. You can see here. Shots are going in. And I must have just had my aim off here a little bit because those two shots don't even do anything. Must have been shooting the track or something. So anyway, T40's coming up the hill. And we've got the M3 light over there. There goes the T28. Hoping to get some shots in on the M3 light before the T40 gets to me. But you can see with small tank moving like that, we're going to bounce a couple, we're going to miss a couple. We're on the reload, and there's T40. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Could have done a better job of driving this out, but we get a shot in on him and drive up the hill, which is not good. But you can see how quickly it can power up over the second hill and get us to safety. And you know, this is kind of exemplifies driving this tank. It's chaotic. You're all over the place. But this is a nice move to come up behind this B1 here. Obviously a good player, DD platoon, and we've got him in the backside here. And we'll just go ahead and finish him off. Now they have all moving in on that guy down in the bowl. Hoping to get around here and get some shots in, but I can't see anything. So rather than just sitting here, I'm going to try to relocate. And we'll go to the left side of this mound here. And if we look in, we got a couple shots now. We should come this way first time, probably. So now we're even again, 3 on 3. We know one's in the base here. And now we're down a tank. So let's go ahead and recap base. Figure this guy's AFK and then I get shot. But he comes back and does a significant amount of damage, and taking a few shots here from Chihi. So I want to relocate. Gonna do some bad driving here and try to go up much too steep of a hill, and I can't get up there. I wanted to get around behind him, but now we are gonna have to try a different tactic. And we're able just to use that 10% gun depression to finish him off. Getting called a coward there. That's nice. Some bad shooting on my part for sure. Trying to back down to safety. They really don't give you enough downvotes, in my opinion. Would love to downvote that guy. So, anyway, 33 hit points left, and there's one guy, I saw him driving off to the right. Just wanted to make sure he didn't come back down here. And so we're going to Cruiser, I wish I had a downvote left for you, buddy. He must have been lagging or something, but anyway, go ahead and finish him off for kill number 4. 1,300 hairy damage points all over the map. Lots of APCR. Hate this tank. Yeah, not a fan. So I would suggest playing as few games as possible. Move on up. The tanks above this one are much better. This is by far the worst, in my opinion, in the line there. So anyway, I don't know if I really shared much knowledge on this tank. As you can see, I don't play it extremely well. I don't really care for it that much, but and I struggle to do damage like I do in some of the other tier 4 tanks that are fairly easy. So I think all of those things combined make it pretty straightforward that this is not an overpowering tank whatsoever. So anyway, guys, hope you learned a few things. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Just a game. And remember, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.